Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is Joe Figueroa with another video in our series, The Science of Salsa. An in-depth look at the whys but also the hows of all things salsa and mambo. Dancers should be able to practice this material, either individually or with a partner. This week's video is going to be focusing on the use of the high line and low line for both leads and follows, as well as the surrounding technique. So take this moment to subscribe and ring the bell because we're starting right now. As you all should know by now, my focus in teaching is and has always been about social dancing. I just love the idea of asking anyone in the room to dance and being able to have 4 minutes of expression, raw enjoyment, tapping into what is primal. Anyway, for me, certain things about leading anyone into anything start to become clear, part of your muscle memory. These things become techniques that you find always work. One technique in particular is the surrounding lead. I've talked in many other videos about the use of the high line and the low line, how lead comes from the dancer's middle, and the ingredients of preparation and direction before movement. I'm going to use a few examples today. Let's go with this standard walk step into a side-by-side position, like we have here. So the lead's goal is to bring the follow to this side-by-side position. What I like to do is use my right hand to wrap low at the follow's midsection while raising my left hand, the follow's right, high to the follow's eye line. This is providing information for the follow. Once I have my partner at this position, I can pretty much go anywhere I want. Let's go with something standard, a progressive or clockwise turn. I first give the follow their preparation, breaking back or whatever style they may choose, then use my right arm at her back to guide her forward slightly, creating what I refer to as a progressive basic. That's the forward step with the follow's right you see here. I take it as well with my left, not just for symmetry, but because it informs the follow of what direction I intend for us. I still have the same high and low points I had before. Using my left, I begin to turn my partner, in this case Sharonne, that's Sharonne, clockwise. Notice how I keep my left high and lead the turn with my entire arm, flat and above her head. In addition, I bring my right arm, which is already at her midsection, even lower, dropping it below her hips, extending her arm to its length, pressing my fingers into her palm to guarantee her arm is straight. This is all providing information. Clear lead. The extending the arm downward is also a safety measure, eliminating the follow's elbow from the equation, making it so that I don't have to worry about the elbow hitting me. Once Sharonne's progressive turn is complete, we both break back, creating a rubber band effect, a stretch effect in the arms, causing us to trade places in a sense. Now here, I just did a quick arm raise to turn her to face me, but I did it fancy. And how do you know it's fancy? Because my pinky's out.
If you want to be fancy, hold your pinky up like this. The higher you hold it, the fancier you are.
How's that?
Higher.
Like that?
Now that's fancy.
Once I'm turned to face her, I prepare Sharonne for a multiple spin. We are now with our rights crossed over our lefts. That's the first spin. I have both sets of hands at the high line, her eye level. I know from experience that the most comfortable way to raise or lower my partner's hands would be when they are right in front of her face. With the first spin complete and her facing me, I quickly lower my right hand, her left, straight down, like a zipper on a jacket or the back of a woman's dress. Now this double is technically the same as the progressive I just gave her. The only difference is that this second one was done on the spot, whereas the first example traveled, but the technique is virtually the same, putting us in the same ending position. With the hand brought down to the follow's middle, I am once again providing lead high and low. There's the back break to create the stretch effect again. There's the trade of places. Notice the symmetry in our movements. One more creation of a high and low to create a type of caress at her shoulder line, completing the pattern and moving into the next. Oh, and I'm still fancy. Here's another version with a walk into a side-by-side position, but in this case I have the follow's left in my left and right in my right. I give her a chance to break back on her preparation, during which time I have the hands relatively even at her shoulder line. As she steps forward on her left for her direction step, in this case her 5 step since we're dancing on 1, I lower our lefts down to her midsection, keeping the hands in front of her and pressing with my fingertips back in order to give the impression of a wall. some sort of obstruction that would indicate that she can go no further forward. Notice the high and low. I refer to any movement that implies one thing but then results in just a basic step as a fake. I give her a fake, which sends her back into a standard basic step. Because of the press in the hand and the raising of the rights over her head, I am able to step forward on the next count, using the line to place myself in front of Becky. This is Becky, and inform her of what's next. This is another stretch effect, causing us to meet in the middle, putting us in nearly the same position from a moment ago. The difference this time is that instead of applying pressure in her left hand like an obstruction, I extend my left arm forward, indicating that the direction is to continue forward for her. Once I have her committed to the direction, I pull back slightly to indicate her inside turn. Follows, notice Becky's use of high and low lines throughout. It's just good following technique. This last one I'm pretty proud of. This was from a workshop I did last year in Asia. The young lady is Yekaterina Virshki. I met her 2 days before, danced with her once, and asked her to assist me in this workshop, without showing her what I had planned ahead of time. I like my partners to dance and style naturally in real time, two things that Kate can do very well. Now in this version, I bring Kate into another walk step in regular handhold, my left to her right to start. Asking for her left with my right as she comes in, I raise the right up and lower my left to have it end up behind her back. My right, her left, is at her shoulder line, which coincidentally is at my eye line. Because she's an Amazon goddess, and I'm a hobbit. So much leg. But I digress. The movement that brought us here was just a walk like the first two examples. I refer to this arm hold as a spiral hold. Now what I did here that was special to this workshop was to teach a turn for the follow during the prep. I'm going to describe this on 1 even though I did it on 1 and 2 for the workshop. I break back on 1, allowing for Kate to break back as well. As soon as I feel her take her first step back, I begin to pull back with my right hand to make a circle motion over her head, clockwise. Understanding that she is tall, I make sure to reach well above her head as to not hit her during this. This is part of the concept of surrounding her, making her feel as if my lead is all around her, encompassing her. Once I have drawn the circle, I bring the handhold back down to the shoulder in the same spot that we began. Now what I wanted to do was make her third step forward to where we were facing. So using my left handhold low at her midsection, I pull my left hand forward. Once her turn begins consistently during the preparation, I see it as a rope tied at her waistline. Once again, a rope that surrounds her middle. I take a forward step or progressive step on 3 with my left. In doing so, I was able to guide her forward even though the turn began headed backward. This was followed because I used a clear high line and low line for my partner, kept it throughout, and ended with it, along with giving her the feel that my lead is ubiquitous. From here, I lead another fake. She body rolls at the end as I pass the hand over my shoulder, down to my waist, leading her into another inside turn that also uses the high and low concept. And there you have a few examples of high and low and surrounding technique. These things can be practiced individually as a lead or follow. So get on it. That's going to do it for me. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. This content is for you to benefit from, so any feedback that you can give me will be greatly appreciated. Comments, likes, and even dislikes will help me to provide you with the best content that I can. So if you like this, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. And remember,
when in doubt, pinky out.